What was the first thing that happened to Eve? It ain't the fact, we always want to talk about she ate the apple, she ate the apple. But why did she eat the apple? Because now who we know as Satan got in her head. Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. This is Forever Ashley, and on this channel we talk about all things from Christianity, spirituality, mindfulness, personal development. So go ahead and subscribe. Like, these videos are going to be good, so just go ahead and subscribe. Okay, now we're going to be talking about anxiety, and I'm just like making sure I don't forget any of my notes. But anxiety is something that a lot of us struggle with, to the point where it's almost normal. And I don't like any medical diagnosis or anything like that. I don't feel like it should be normal just because so many people experience it. It shouldn't be normal. Like, it's not normal to constantly be having overwhelming thoughts, to constantly be going down a rabbit hole with certain things. Like, that's not normal. So I just want to talk to you and hopefully share some tips, hopefully help you. And I know that you'll be able to take something from this video. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, now again, this is something that I personally deal with and that I personally struggle with. As I've gotten closer, like as I've developed a more intimate relationship with God, I realize how much my mind is like free now. I realize how much He's helped me through this. But I'm talking about, like, I would be going down rabbit holes. I would be having just overwhelming thoughts, constantly going in a cycle. Then ended up feeling bad for myself because I'm asking myself, why are you thinking this? Why? I know years ago, let's say I would be in a drive-through and, just sitting in a drive-through, and then I see somebody walking and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I hope they don't just come up and shoot me. Like, I know that's a crazy thought to some of y'all, but it's a legit thought I had. I'm being open and I'm being vulnerable with y'all because I know I'm not the only one. Now, just to clear that up, my therapist at the time told me I had that thought because I was almost like preparing, like I had these bad thoughts because I was almost preparing myself for something bad to happen due to the traumatic experience I went through. That was unexpected, very traumatic. So the thoughts that I was thinking now, when they were not good, I was like trying to prepare myself already. But there's no way you can prepare yourself for bad. Like, it's just no way. So don't think about it, don't worry about it, all that. But anyways, yeah, like just constantly going through a cycle, having overwhelming thoughts, and then just feeling bad for myself when I would think certain things, and then just be in this funk. And it was just a constant cycle. So dealing with anxiety, how I've dealt with it, how I've maintained a more free, clear mind, how I still deal with it, but I know how to handle it. And not every day is a good day. Don't get me wrong, but I've developed this spiritual exercise. I developed this muscle. I've gotten closer with God. I talk to Him more. I give it to Him, okay? Because Philippians 4:6, what does Philippians 4:6 say? Y'all know I rarely ever nowadays make a video without pulling out scripture. But let me go ahead and tell y'all, for the people who don't want to look it up, do not be anxious about anything. Okay? Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. All right? Now, one of the first things I want to tell y'all on just things that I've done, stop identifying with it. Stop identifying with it. Don't walk around saying, my anxiety. Stop identifying with it. It's not your anxiety. Stop identifying with it. I don't say, I no longer say like, if I'm talking to somebody, I don't say, oh, my anxiety is just giving me a bad day today. Like, I say I'm experiencing feelings of anxiousness, or I'm just a little overwhelmed right now. I'm a little overstimulated right now. But stop identifying with it. Don't identify with it. And I just cannot say that enough, because get those two words together. Get that out of your vocabulary. Stop saying my anxiety. Stop saying that. Stop claiming it. When you say that, you're claiming it. Stop claiming it. You can still experience anxiety. You can still be anxious. You can still do all these things, have all these things going on in your head, but don't claim it, okay? Now, that brings me to my next point. You need to know and understand that all of the thoughts that pop up in your head, they don't belong to you. All of the thoughts, they're not yours. They do not belong to you. Once I realized that, like once I really understood and realized that, oh my gosh, it just made everything so much easier to navigate. Because, and so when a thought comes in, instead of me fighting with it and just getting mad at myself, like, oh, why did I think this? Like, what's wrong with me? Now a thought can pop up, and as fast as it came up is as fast as I can shoot it down, because I don't have to identify with it. I don't have to fight with it, because I know that all thoughts don't belong to me. What was the first thing that happened to Eve? It ain't the fact, we always want to talk about she ate the apple, she ate the apple. But why did she eat the apple? Because now who we know as Satan got in her head. He got in her head. He messed with her mind. All thoughts that come into your head, they don't belong to you. It's this, we get shaped in this whole world we live in, everything we see on social media, like, don't even get me started on that. But when he first came up to her in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, what did he say? Let me go ahead and read it, all right? Genesis 3:1. And now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? He put that seed in her head. He put that seed in her mind. He put that thought in her mind. And let me move on. But yes, first of all, God already won a battle, right? But you have already won the battle, because you know that all thoughts that come up, they don't belong to you. So instead of fighting with it and then getting mad at yourself because this thought came up, now you're wondering what's wrong with you. Now you down this rabbit hole because you done thought that whatever. Just know that that thought does not have to belong to you. What belongs to you is the action you take. Did you act on that thought? If you on the flight of stairs, like if you on the highest floor of stairs, you look down and you think a thought, oh my gosh, like what if I just jump off like right now? And then you be like, that's so crazy. Like, why would I do that? You know, that thought came into your head. Don't fight with it. Like, oh, why would I just think that? Like, what's wrong with me? The same way you can say that to that thought that just came in your head is the same way you can know and have an understanding that that thought just don't even belongs to you. So you don't have to fight with it. Don't give energy to it. Don't water things you don't want to grow. Only water the things you want to grow. Only water the thoughts that serve you. Do not water thoughts that don't serve you. So if things are coming up, don't give energy to it. Don't give emotion to it. Whatever comes up, acknowledge it, okay? And let it pass. Because if you don't add fuel to the fire, if you don't add water to that seed, it's not going to grow. It's going to stay right there and it's going to just die. It's going to go away. It's not going to grow. So know and understand that not every thought that comes up even belongs to you. Like, that's such a freeing statement. That's such a freeing thing to know, that a thought can come up And I don't have to fight with it. I don't have to acknowledge it. I don't have to give any emotion to it. I can just know it came up, and then just let it pass. As fast as it came up is as fast as I can let it pass. I don't have to go down a rabbit hole trying to figure out why I thought this way. I can just let it go. And that brings me to my final point. Be aware. Be aware when you do start to go down that rabbit hole, because sometimes our minds are just our minds. And you want to know really quick, you want to know how I know that not every thought belongs to you? Because a lot of times we ask for our mind, body, and soul to be in alignment, for our mind, body, and soul to be one, in alignment. And sometimes, like, we may want to do something, our mind may want to do something, but our body doesn't feel like it. So, it's just kind of out of whack. But with that being said, our minds just be doing some things sometimes. Like, they just be running sometimes. And then we don't realize it until we already 5 feet in the water, and we like, oh Lord, like, I done just thought of all of this crazy stuff. Like, oh Lord. And that's what I used to struggle with that so much. Like, I would already be so far down, be so deep in that rabbit hole. By the time I realized that I literally went down a rabbit hole on a certain thoughts, by the time I realized it, it was already too late. And then guess what happened after that? I started feeling bad for myself, because I'm just like, why did I just let my mind do this? Why did I just let my mind do this? When those moments happen, give yourself grace. The same way you give so much grace and you talk so much strength and love into the people you love, into your friends, into your children, into the people you care about, who come to you for advice, who talk to you, who confide in you. The same way you pour love into them and give them so much grace is the same love and grace you need to be giving right back into yourself. Like, give yourself grace. Give yourself more grace. We are our toughest critics. We are always so much harder on ourselves than we are on anybody else. We're just so hard on ourselves, and we want to beat ourselves up. Give yourself grace. If you go down a rabbit hole, once you finally realize it and catch it, take control of it. You are powerful. You are so powerful. Take control of it. When you finally get into the awareness mode and you just realize you just went down this whole rabbit hole thinking all these things that do not serve you, take control of it. Don't give any more emotion to it than what you've already done. Depending on what it is, maybe you need to get to the root of it. Maybe it's something you can write down in your notes for you to talk to your therapist. Maybe if you have a best friend that you can confide in, maybe you can bring it up, a parent, whatever. But grab control of it. Don't give any more emotion to it than what you've already did, and have grace on yourself. Now, I used to go down those rabbit holes, and I don't anymore, because the moment they come up, I'm able to grab it. I'm able to realize and be aware. And that is a mindfulness thing. If you don't already have a mindfulness practice set in place, then I highly recommend you get one, because if you always just on go mode and you don't ever just take time for yourself to just kind of sit in stillness, whatever that looks like for you, if you meditate, if you do yoga, just make sure you have time set aside for yourself other than sleep. Make sure you have some type of time set aside for yourself that you're able to just be with yourself, journaling, whatever that looks like. But just be able to notice and be aware before you start to go down a rabbit hole that you don't need to go down. Because honestly, there's so many times in my life where I would worry about something, and then when that thing or situation will come to pass, I just be like, wow, I was worrying for nothing. And that's honestly a lot of situations in our lives. Unless it's something that we are constantly self-sabotaging and causing in our own life, that is a lot of the situations in our lives. We just worry about something. We think about how this is going to turn out, and then come to find out, it turned out and it worked exactly how it needed to. It worked out for our highest good. So So yeah, just start to be aware. And that's something that's going to take practice. And the way now I got better with that once I start being aware of what I was even thinking in the first place. I don't know if now this seems so simple, but I promise you, try it and you're gonna be like, dang. Just go about a whole day. I don't know what time you're watching this. If you're watching this at the beginning of the day, go about your whole day and literally set your intention, set your focus on every thought that comes in your head. Like every thought that just pops in your head, ask yourself. And you don't have to, it's more of just a mind thing, but you don't have to ask yourself if the thought is serving you every single time. But just be aware of the thought that comes to your head. Is it a positive thought or is it a negative thought? Is the thought serving you or is it not? Are you worrying when you shouldn't be? Are you adding more stress to yourself than you need to? Like, just go about your day and be aware of everything you're thinking. Now, I thought I was a pretty positive person, but once I did that practice, I was like, dang, like, not all these thoughts that was coming in my head were just so positive. But yeah, I've started to be aware of every thought that comes in my head. What am I thinking? Is this serving me? Am I worrying for nothing? Is this something I can just take to God? Because all throughout scripture, God tells us, don't worry, don't be anxious, do not worry, give it to him. So a lot of the times we don't give it to him. We just try to keep it and deal with everything ourselves. And no. Give it to him, be connected to community, whatever you need to do. But just be aware of that. So, oh my gosh, like there's just so much more I can say about this topic, but I just don't want this video to be so long because I want people to watch it all the way through. But just recap, don't identify with it. So stop saying my anxiety because that's you claiming it and you don't need to claim it. Be aware when you start to go down that rabbit hole, grab control of it and just be aware. That's, and that's going into mindfulness. So start working on mindfulness and know and understand that every thought that pops up don't belong to you. Every thought that comes in your head does not belong to you. And I don't know if y'all know this, but if you are an avid coffee drinker, coffee increases the symptoms of anxiety. So if you already dealing with anxiety and you drinking coffee every day, or even whenever you drink coffee and you start noticing it's doing something to your body, it's doing something to your mind, it's the coffee. So just stop drinking it. I hope this video helped. I love y'all so much. I don't have to know you personally to love you. I love y'all because you watch my video. I'm sending you love. I'm praying for you. I thank you. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me down below. I will answer you. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, because there's like more people watching my video than I have subscribers, which I know is very normal, but like just subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I thank y'all and I love y'all and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.